Welcome back to The Explainer. Today, we're diving straight into a psychological breakdown of a really tough spot a lot of guys find themselves in. That slow, creeping sensation of walking on eggshells in your own home. You know, if you've ever dealt with a partner who just kind of picks at everything you do, well, this explainer breaks down a perspective that might completely flip how you look at the whole dynamic. It usually starts small, right? An eye roll when you're talking, a little jab about your income, or maybe sudden comparisons to some guy at her work. You naturally start wondering, man, why am I never enough? Well, the source material argues you need to stop right there. Take a breath. Because as we're going to see in this explainer, her constant criticism, it's almost never actually about your worth as a man. To figure out what's really going on here, we're going to unpack 4 key concepts from our source material today: the hidden power struggle, insecurity and control tactics, resentment and core tests, and finally, reclaiming your boundaries. All right, let's jump right into the first one: the hidden power struggle. The really crucial takeaway here is that when a partner talks down to you, it's actually a reflection of her own internal battles. The source frames this as a basic survival instinct wrapped up in a toxic mindset, not some actual failure on your part. So instead of beating yourself up over your own perceived shortcomings, we really have to look at this quiet power struggle she's trying to win just to feel safe. Which brings us to section 2, insecurity and control tactics. According to the text, you're going to spot these tactics through some very specific daily patterns. For instance, if she's deeply insecure, she might try to drag your confidence down simply because your potential terrifies her. You might even see her casually mention other guys who are supposedly messaging her, creating this artificial crowd of competitors just to make herself seem more valuable. On the control side of things, she might use toxic comparisons to chip away at your independence, leaving you second-guessing your own sanity and literally asking permission for the most basic choices. Now, there's a huge difference between how we want to react to this and how we actually should. Your gut instinct to argue or yell or rattle off a list of everything you do for her, that is exactly the emotional reaction she's looking for, because it proves her words have power over you. So the prescribed solution? Absolute, unshakable non-reaction. You've got to ignore the bait and just keep grinding without needing her validation. The source actually provides a masterclass script for instantly flipping this power dynamic. If she brings up other men to threaten you, you look her dead in the eye and say exactly this: if you honestly feel that those other men can give you a better life, you are completely free to go and find out. If you want to stay, you talk to me with respect. See, a woman acting out of insecurity relies 100% on your fear of losing her. Show her you aren't afraid of her walking away, and watch that fake confidence vanish instantly. Now, dealing with the second diagnosis, the control tactics can be a bit trickier. When she drops a toxic comparison, like asking why you can't be more like her friend's boyfriend, defending your choices just hands her the gavel to judge you. You end up looking like a kid explaining yourself to the principal. The fix here? Dead silence. Zero emotional reaction. You physically walk away and completely break her control machine. Instead of asking, hey, is it okay if I go out? The source argues you need to make executive decisions. A simple, calm, I'm heading out with the guys tonight, I'll see you later, works wonders. It shows your life is moving forward, with or without her sign-off. Because at the end of the day, a partner can't control someone who is totally comfortable steering his own ship. All right, let's go a bit deeper into the psychology with section 3, resentment and core tests. As we peel this back, we find 2 completely different but equally destructive patterns. On one hand, you have resentment. Maybe she's carrying massive baggage from an ex, or she's unhappy with her own life, so she uses you as an emotional punching bag with passive-aggressive little digs. But on the other hand, she might just be unconsciously testing you, suddenly mocking a goal of yours just to see if you'll crack under the pressure. And understanding the difference between these 2 motivations is absolutely crucial. Resentment stems from her own internal dissatisfaction. She's basically just venting her bitterness onto you. But the core test? Totally different beast. That is a deeply ingrained, unconscious biological instinct designed specifically to see if she can shake your emotional state. The source defines this primal behavior, which a lot of folks in the dating world call a shit test, as a literal biological need. Subconsciously, she needs to know she's safe with a guy who can hold his ground. She wants to know if you're strong enough to handle the pressures of the real world, and honestly, the fastest way for her to find out is to test your strength herself. The crazy part is how easy it is to fail this test. If she mocks your plan and you start frantically explaining yourself, or worse, you change your mind, she instantly makes a mental note that your confidence is fake. Passing the test requires total emotional detachment. The source calls this calm alpha silence. Think of it like an adult watching a toddler throw a tantrum in the cereal aisle. You don't get mad, right? You just watch them with a kind of calm amusement. A super effective way to show that amusement is to just agree with the insult and ridiculously amplify the joke. If she mocks your business goals, you hit her back with something playful like, "You're totally right. I'm actually terrible at this. I'll probably lose all our money by Tuesday, so you better get ready." By leaning into it, you're showing a confidence so incredibly deep that her little jabs don't even leave a scratch. Her anxiety drops because she sees you are completely unshakable. But listen, we need to pivot back to that first diagnosis for a second: deep resentment. When you're dealing with genuine, bitter resentment, you absolutely cannot just laugh it off. The author stresses that you have to use a firm, step-by-step boundary protocol. Why? Because a boundary without a real, tangible consequence is literally just noise. You draw a hard line in the sand with something like this: "I am a grown man and I am your partner, not your punching bag. If you cannot talk to me with basic respect, I'm going to leave this house for the night." Boom. You're clearly stating that your presence is a privilege, and the absolute baseline price of admission is respect. If she keeps it up, you walk out. Period. Pull your presence away completely and let her sit alone with her toxic thoughts instead of you as a vent. All right, let's tie all this together with our final section: reclaiming your boundaries. The source hammers home this fundamental law of human behavior. People treat you exactly how you teach them to treat you. If you stay quiet, just trying to keep the peace, and take those passive-aggressive insults on the chin, you are actively teaching her that disrespect is totally fine in your house. You're essentially giving her a giant green light to keep doing it. Literally 100% of any lasting, healthy relationship relies on respect as the absolute foundation. You can't just love someone into treating you better. Without respect, you don't even have a relationship. You just have a countdown timer ticking away until the whole thing blows up in your face. The beauty of setting these calm, non-negotiable standards is that it creates a total win-win for your future. Think about it. A good partner, someone who genuinely wants a great life with you, she's going to see your strength, adjust her attitude, and step up to meet that standard. But a toxic partner, she'll quickly realize she can't manipulate you anymore, she'll get frustrated, and she'll walk away. And the crystal clear here: never, ever fear a toxic partner leaving. Her walking out the door is actually a massive victory for you. It frees you from the trap of being a lifelong punching bag, and it completely clears the path for you to go find a peaceful, genuinely healthy relationship. So I'm going to leave you with this final thought from today's explainer. You know the underlying psychology now, and you've got the exact boundary-setting tools in your back pocket. The choice is yours. Are you going to keep playing small and walking on eggshells? Or are you ready to start leading your life with the absolute certainty and non-negotiable respect you deserve?